Hello everyone, this is Praveen Chittoju from TimeChamp. Today we are going to discuss about how to increase team productivity by 30% using monitoring data. Stop managing blind, start managing with evidence. Are you ready? Let's deep dive into the session. Here is the uncomfortable truth about workplace productivity. We are managing it blind. Most organizations still rely on three sources to understand how productive their teams are. That is, employee surveys, self-reported timesheets, and manager's intuition. The problem? All three are fundamentally unreliable. Research from the American Psychological Association found that employees overestimate their production hours by 35 to 40% in self-reports. That's not dishonesty, it's human nature. We genuinely believe we are more focused than we actually are. For managers overseeing remote and hybrid teams, the visibility problem even worse. Without activity data, leaders can only evaluate output, the finished work. They have no insights into the process. That guessing game has really cost. Organizations invest in collaboration platforms, project management tools, and productivity training without knowing which behavioral bottlenecks are actually draining performance. Today, I am showing you exactly how to increase team productivity by 30% using 4 data-driven. Those are backed by real monitoring data, not assumptions or guesswork. Let's look into it. Here is the uncomfortable truth about workplace productivity. We are managing it blind. Most of organizations still rely on three sources to understand how productive their teams are. Those are depending on employee surveys, self-reported timesheets, and manager's intuition. The problem? All those three are fundamentally unreliable. Research from the American Psychological Association found that employees overestimate their productive hours by 35 to 40% in self-reports. That's not a dishonesty, it's human nature. We genuinely believe we are more focused than we actually are. Am I correct? Yes. For managers overseeing remote and hybrid teams, the visibility problem is even worse. Without activity data, leaders can only evaluate output, the finished work. They have no insights into the process. Our team members context switching between 12 different apps, spending 2 hours daily in unproductive communication tools, burning out with no breaks. Managers simply don't know. The guessing game has real costs. Organizations invest in collaboration platforms, project management tools, and productivity training without knowing which behavioral bottlenecks are actually draining. Yes, which actually draining performance. It's like prescribing medicine without a diagnosis. Workforce monitoring data reveals what surveys and self-reports can't. Actual application usage patterns, context switching frequency, ideal time distribution, and when employees hit their peak productivity windows. Consider this real example. A 140-person professional services firm deployed activity tracking and discovered that 23% of billable hours were lost to untracked communication app sprawl like Slack, Teams, and email and SMS. Slack, Teams, email, and SMS. With no clear workflow ownership. That's nearly 1 full day per week. Yes, 1 full day per week. That is for one employee. Invisible to traditional productivity measurements without behavioral data. Productivity improvement is guesswork. With it, you are managing from evidence. Now, let's dive into the 4 specific interventions that will drive you 30% productivity improvement. Each one targets a different behavioral bottleneck revealed by monitoring data. Let's start with the intervention that delivers the fastest return of investments. Eliminating low-value digital activities. Timechamps app and websites tracking creates a complete time allocation picture. Every application opened, every browser tab accessed, every minute spent, categorized automatically as productive, neutral, or unproductive based on your organization's definitions. Here is where it gets interesting. The 80/20 rule applies ruthlessly to wasted time. When we analyze workforce data, we consistently find that 80% of non-productive hours concentrate in just 3 to 5 specific categories. That is, social media, news sites, excessive personal messaging, and redundant communication tools. Let's discuss this with real example. A 45% marketing agency discovered their team average 94 minutes daily on non-essential news sites and social platforms. Very pity. That's nearly 16% and 8 hours of workday. They weren't looking for it. The data suffered it automatically. This is where productivity scoring becomes critical. Timechamp doesn't just track, it calculates a productivity percentage for each employee based on time spent in productive versus non-productive applications. You set baseline acceptable thresholds. Maybe 75% productivity is realistic for your team. The system flags outliers, not to punish individuals, but identify systematic patterns. Here is the manager's playbook. Don't micromanage individuals based on daily scores. Instead, review weekly team trends. If 6 people show low productivity Thursday afternoons, that's not a discipline issue. That's a workflow design problem. Maybe meetings are draining focus. Maybe you need better project prioritization. The expected gain from this intervention alone. Organizations typically recover 8 to 12% of total work time by eliminating or reducing the bottom 20% of low-value digital activities. That's nearly 5 additional productive hours per employee. This is per week, but here is what makes this sustainable. You are not guessing which activity to target. The data tells you exactly where the time goes. Are you ready to find for your team? Please visit timechamp.io and book a specific demo for your organization and find what team is you're doing at the specific time. Now let's tackle the silent productivity killer, context switching. Timechamp's activity timelines reveals something striking. The average knowledge worker switches context every 6 to 8 minutes. Email to Slack, Slack to document, document to browser, browser to meeting. Constantly. Here is why that matters. Research from the University of California even shows it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully recover focus. That is after each interruption, friends. Do the math. You are switching context every 7 minutes. You are never reaching deep focus. Please think about it. Timechamp's application tracking identifies exactly where interruptions originate. For most teams, it's the usual suspects: Slack, Microsoft Teams, email clients, and ad hoc meeting notifications. Here's a real example. The key is using individual productivity patterns data to schedule focus blocks when each employee naturally does their best deep work. Timechamp activity log show some people hit peak focus mid-morning, others after lunch, others late afternoon. Track one metric before and after interventions. Average continuous work sessions length. When that number climbs from 15 or 20 minutes to 60 or 90 minutes, you are looking at real cognitive recovery. Sounds interesting? Yes, expected productivity gains from reducing context switching. That is 10 to 15%. That's the recovery simply by protecting attention, not working more hard. Now, let's address the workload distribution problem that most managers don't even realize they have. Idle time analysis and productivity scoring reveals something critical. Massive workload imbalances hiding in plain sight. Some team members are burning out at 90% utilization while others sit below 45. And without behavioral data, managers assume everyone is equal busy. Here is what healthy utilization actually looks like in knowledge work: between 65 and 75% productive times. That leaves room for collaboration, learning, and strategic thinking. Anything consistently above 85% signals burnout risk. Below 50%, that's either underutilization or unclear priorities. If you have any doubts, please chat in the comment box. My team will reply for that. Now we will see a real scenario. A 22% operating team discovered 40% workload variance across similar roles. 3 senior analysts were running 88% of utilization. That is headed straight for burnout. While 4 team members averaged just 52%. The manager redistributed assignments based on actual capacity data, not assumptions. The result? Any guesses? I will reveal. Team-wide productivity improved 7% within 6 weeks. More importantly, they eliminated 2 burnout resignations and improved delivery consistency across all accounts. This is especially critical for distributed teams. Attendance verification and work hour data ensure you are distributing work equally across remote and hybrid team members, not inadvertently overloading the people who happen to be most visible. Typical gain from workload rebalancing, that is 5 to 8% of productivity improvement plus measurable retention benefit. Here is the productivity insights most managers overlook. Not all workers are created equal. Time Champ's activity tracking reveals something fascinating. Every employee has distinct productivity windows. When they produce their highest value work, our aggregated data shows most knowledge workers peak between 10 a.m. and noon, then again 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. But here is what matters. Individual variation is significant. Some developers hit peak flow at 8 p.m. Others don't reach maximum output until mid-afternoon. The problem? Any guesses? Yes, most organizations schedule meetings randomly across the day, often landing right in the peak productivity window. Research shows scheduling collaborative sessions during peak individual focus hours destroys 15 to 20%. Yes, 15 to 20% of potential output. You are literally interrupting people when their brains are primed for deep work. The tactical fix is straightforward. Use Time Champ's activity data to identify each team member's documented high productivity periods. Protect those windows for focused work, cluster meetings, administrative tasks, and collaborative sessions during the natural low energy periods. Your data reveals those all. Now we will see a real example. A 12% development team analyzed 3 months activity data and discovered their daily 10 a.m. stand-up consistently interrupted peak coding hours. They moved it to 2:30 p.m. right before the afternoon energy dip. The results? 12% increase in monitoring code commits. That is happened within 4 weeks. Amazing. The expected gain from chronotype aligned schedule 6 to 10% productivity improvement simply by doing the same work at biologically optimal time. So here is where it gets exciting. These interventions stack 5 to 30% net productivity improvement over 90 days. Here the rollout framework that actually works. Week 1 to 2. Baseline data collection. Turn on time champs abstracting, activity timelines and productivity scoring. Do not intervene at just observe. Week 3 to 4. Pattern analysis and intervention design. Identify which of the 4 intervention areas offer your biggest opportunity. A marketing agency might prioritize context switching. A support team might focus on workload balance. Week 5 to 8. Pilot with one team. Test your intervention. Measure leading indicators. Productivity time percentage. Context switching frequency. Utilize variations. Peak hour protection rate. Week 9 to 12. Full deployment across the organization. This is your 90 days implementation plan. If you have any doubts, please comment in the chat box. A 38% professional services firm in Aston followed exactly this framework. Week 2 baseline 54% average productive time. Week 12 results 71% productive time. A 31% improvement billable hours increased $47,000 monthly without adding headcount. Here's what separates this approach from basic time trackers like Hubstaff. Simple hour logging tells you how long someone worked. Time champs, behavioral analytics, app patterns, ideal detection activity timelines tells you how effectively they worked and where to intervene. That's the difference between counting hours and engineering productivity. Sounds interesting? Yes. Here is what separates this approach from basic time trackers like Hubstaff. Simple hour logging tells you how long someone worked. Time champs behavioral analytics shows app patterns, ideal detection, activity timelines, which tells you how effectively they worked, where to intervene. That's the difference between counting hours and engineering productivity. Got it? Your next step, start with a 2 weeks baseline. No interventions, no pressure, just data collection. Then identify which intervention area offers you the biggest quick win. The visibility creates the roadmap. The roadmap creates the results. Are you agree with me? Please chat in the comments as free roadmap so that we will share you the roadmap for your next step. Start with 2 weeks baseline, no interventions, no pressure, just data collection. Then identify which interventions area offer your team the biggest quick win. The visibility creates the roadmap creates the results. Ready to stop managing productivity blind? Start with 2 weeks baseline using the time champ. No interventions, no pressure, just data collection. Then identify which intervention area offers your team the biggest quick win. Visit timechamp.io to start your free trial today and get access to the behavioral analytics that reveals exactly where your productivity gains are hiding. The visibility creates the roadmap creates the results. Thanks for watching this video. Please scan the QR code and book a dedicated AI delegation audit for your team and organization. We are offering 7 days free trial for users. No credit card required. Please subscribe for next information video. See you again with another information video. Thank you.